The aroma of roasted chicken, usually a comforting anchor in the Vance household, hung heavy and inert in the dining room. Eleanor picked at a green bean, the clink of her fork against the porcelain plate echoing in the sudden, profound silence. Across the polished mahogany table, David, impeccably dressed even for a weeknight dinner, set down his own cutlery with a soft, deliberate click. His gaze, usually warm and engaging, was unsettlingly placid.
Eleanor, he began, his voice a low, even murmur that somehow cut through the quiet more sharply than a shout. I want a divorce.
The words hung in the air, crystalline and brutal. Eleanor's hand, halfway to her wine glass, froze. The world seemed to tilt, the elegant chandelier above them blurring into a shimmering, hostile sun. She stared at him, searching for a flicker of jest, a hint of a smile, anything to dispel the icy grip tightening around her chest. There was nothing. His face was a mask of calm resolve, his eyes devoid of the usual playful glint she'd known for 2 decades. What? The single word was a breath, a fragile whisper that barely escaped her lips. Her throat felt constricted, as if she'd swallowed a shard of ice.
Our marriage, Eleanor, it's over. I've been thinking about this for a while.
A while, the phrase twisted in her gut. How long was a while? Weeks, months, years had she been living a lie for a while? The perfect life they had meticulously built brick by expensive brick suddenly felt like a stage set ready to collapse. The meticulously arranged flowers in the centerpiece, the gleaming silver, the very walls of their grand residence all seemed to mock her with their silent perfection. Thinking, Eleanor finally managed, her voice gaining a brittle edge. You've been thinking asterisk, and this is how you tell me over dinner? The absurdity of the situation, the sheer, cold audacity began to ignite a spark of anger beneath the shock.
I felt it was best to be direct. No point in prolonging the inevitable. He picked up his napkin, folded it precisely, and placed it beside his plate. The mundane action was a stark contrast to the seismic shift he had just unleashed.
Eleanor pushed her plate away, the half-eaten meal suddenly repulsive. The inevitable? David, what are you talking about? We have a life, we have Sophia. Her daughter's name, usually a source of warmth, now felt like a desperate plea, a shield against the encroaching darkness.
Sophia will be fine, David said, his tone dismissive, as if Sophia were a minor detail in his grand plan. We'll handle it maturely, for her sake.
Maturely, the word tasted like ash. Eleanor's mind raced, trying to grasp at straws at explanations. There had been no arguments, no overt signs of discontent. Just a gradual, almost imperceptible cooling which she had attributed to the demands of their busy careers, the natural ebb and flow of a long marriage. But this was a chasm. Is there someone else? The question was out before she could stop it, a raw, desperate accusation. She watched his face for any tell, any flicker of guilt or surprise. There was none, only that infuriating, composed calm.
That's irrelevant, Eleanor, David replied, his voice still maddeningly even. The marriage is over. That's the only truth that matters now.
But it wasn't irrelevant, it was everything. The denial, the refusal to even acknowledge the possibility only fueled her suspicion. A cold dread began to seep into her bones, replacing the initial shock. She knew David, she knew his patterns. His composure, his evasiveness, it was a shield. Later that night, the house was steeped in a silence far heavier than before. Sophia was asleep, oblivious to the earthquake that had just ripped through their family. Eleanor lay in her own bed, the sheets feeling alien and cold, David's side of the bed untouched. Sleep was an impossible luxury. Her mind replayed his words, his unnerving calm, the way he had so effortlessly dismantled their shared life. A gut feeling, sharp and insistent, gnawed at her. Asterisk irrelevant. Asterisk the word echoed, a siren call to the truth she instinctively knew he was hiding. She slipped out of bed, her bare feet silent on the cool hardwood floors. The house, usually a sanctuary, now felt like a labyrinth of shadows and unspoken truths. She found David's phone on his bedside table charging. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the oppressive quiet. Her fingers trembled as she picked it up, the screen illuminating his lock screen photo, a smiling Sophia taken on their last family vacation. The irony was a bitter taste in her mouth. She knew his passcode, it was their anniversary. With a deep, shaky breath, she typed it in. The phone unlocked, revealing a cascade of apps. She navigated to his messaging app, her eyes scanning for anything out of place. And there it was, a contact she didn't recognize, Isabelle D. Her thumb hovered, then pressed. The messages unfolded, a sickening tapestry of clandestine meetings, whispered endearments, and plans for future that did not include her. Her breath hitched. Each word was a fresh stab, each emoji a cruel mockery of their broken vows. Then she saw the photos. Selfies of David and a younger woman, her face striking, her smile confident. Isabelle Dubois. Phone felt like a block of ice in her hand, yet her fingers burned. The images, the words seared themselves into her mind. The perfect life, the perfect family, the perfect husband, all shattered not by an inevitable drift, but by a deliberate, calculated betrayal. The cold dread solidified into a burning rage, a fierce, protective instinct for the daughter who still slept soundly down the hall, unaware of the devastating truth her mother had just uncovered. The foundation of their world had not just cracked, it had imploded.